Yeah, bang bang rail. Yeah. One of the worst times I ever had, yeah, was a place called CanCun, Mexico. Yeah, on my life. That was mad. You know what I mean? I can't say too much about CanCun because the girl that I went with, yeah, and I've already spoke about it before. She phoned me up from Canada. Yeah, they even were looking at me at Canada. You know what I mean? And she phoned me up from Canada and went crazy. Don't do that. You know, I've got kids now and this, that, and the other. I don't. You know, which is right. You know what I mean? So I won't talk about her. You know what I mean? As such, yeah, it can be anyone. Yeah. Anyway, Cancun was a pain in the butt for me, really, because, you know, like all the trouble I had, my passport went missing, boarding pass went missing, lots of money went missing, and this, that, and the other. So it was a bit naughty for me, yeah. So I had to get money sent in from Western Union and all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? And Cancun was boiling, you know, was boiling hot. And do you know what frightened me about Cancun in a bit? Is when I went up on that power glider. I went up in the power glide when you go up in the parachute, yeah, and a boat pulls you along. And I went up about, I don't know, it seemed like I was going up and up and up, wasn't going to stop, yeah. And when they sort of like going all over the ocean, but they can only go so far because they've got nets out there, yeah. They've got nets out there that stop all the big sharks coming through, killing people on Cancun Beach. You know, between the two mountains, it's got a big, massive, got a big net goes across there, yeah. And so, but when you're up in that power gliding thing, you can look down and you can see the sharks swimming around, or sharks caught in the nets, yeah. And you're looking down, you can't believe it. Now, all the time in your mind, you're thinking, well, hold up, if that boat conks out now, right, the chances of me going over that side might be maybe 95% my side, that I'd go the other side, but it's always at 5% you might go the other side where the sharks are. You can see the sharks from the high up because it's clear water, yeah? You can see all these big sharks trying to swimming around, trying to find a way in, you know, but they've got guys going around in boats and shooting them, all this, that and the other, yeah? But you can still see it, and it's quite frightening when you're up that high out, you know what I mean? Anyway, when you come back in, it's lovely, you know. You think I wouldn't go up there again. She's laughing, you know what I mean. Anyway, I would never go up there again, never in a million years. And what Cancun does is a lot of sports on Cancun, volleyball, like they're playing volleyball. See when they're playing in the swimming pool. I forget what they call it in the swimming pool, but I cut like a murder ball thing when they throw the ball, you know. I played there, and what happens, I swam up to it when I was playing in the net, what do they call it? And playing up, I swam up to when they were playing in the net, I was underwater, and as I got up, I was massive, I was big, you know, I was a big guy. As I jumped up, this guy went, oh my God. He said, Ray, you on my side? I was big, you know. And I had a good time as far as that, because you could drink what you like, which I don't really drink. But when you're on holiday, you let yourself go, don't you? And we'd already been who I was with, no names or nothing, who I was with when we Gatwick hotel, and got on the coke, you know, and everything really bad. Done a lot of coke that night before we went to Cancun. So I was out my nut anyway. And when we got to Cancun, I had a pair of these loafers on, these Gucci loafers. And I said to her, look, under all the bags, I'm going to go on the beach. So I went on the beach, you know what I mean, with a big shade over, and I fell asleep. And the sun went round, and the shade went round the other way, and it burnt on my feet. And after running into the water to cool down, I was really burnt, you know. And one of these things called the sandworm, they got all it in your rooms and all that about sandworms and certain things you've got to look out for. You know, in the water, be very careful because this and very careful of that. Well, I didn't take the notice of what was in the room. I just went straight into the water, you know, and I got done for a sandwich. Anyway, it cost me a few bob to get it out of my foot, but it was all sorted out, yeah. Anyway, yeah, when I had a bit of trouble with the person I was with, and I was there by myself, I used to go down for a walk down the beach at night time. You know, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, but it's still dangerous, you know. You shouldn't be doing it, really. I mean, the people in the hotels, they're walking around the beach, up and down the beach, because you've got guys, these young Mexicans are robbing you, they're all selling bits of silver and bits of, no gold. It's all, everything in Mexico is silver, yeah? So they're walking up and down the beach trying to sell silver, 2s and 3s o'clock in the morning. And I'm walking across along the beach, mate. I see these turtles, yeah. They was green turtles, and they was like 7 foot long, 6 foot long, mate. Massive, 4 foot across, mate. If one of them got their mouth, their jaws, mate. If one of them get older, it'd take your leg off, mate, without a shadow of a doubt. And they're massive, mate. There was about, I see about 5 or 6 of them walking on, getting onto the beach. Whether or not it was laying eggs, I don't know, but they was big. And it freaked the life out of me, mate. They was so big. So I went, come away from them, went back the other way, walked back down there. And CanCun, yeah, is a place where they got marinas, big marinas, and they got big golf places, yeah, golf clubs and all that, big, massive, great big golf clubs. And the marina, where they got restaurants and all that, they should do a thing at night time there, where you go from one bar to another bar on a bit of rope, at the bottom, right, and a bit of rope on top. You hold that rope and you come across and you get to the other side, and you have a tequila, and you go back again. If you don't have a tequila, you have whatever you want. Yeah, so it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. After a while, you go in the water. But what you got to be careful of, yeah. But there's big alligators out there. I don't know if it's crocodiles or alligators. I'm not quite sure. I think it's alligators. I'm not quite sure. But there's big alligators out there. So you've got to be careful when you fall in the water. But there are people with boats and that watching. But you know how slippery these alligators are, aren't they? Anyway, I've done it a few times and fallen in the water. I mean, I had about 2 or 3 drinks and I'm gone, boing, falling in the water. But I had a good time. By myself, you know what I mean? Going certain places, seeing certain things I've seen, things I see in CanCun, that you think, Christ, I see a thing where you go into this sort of arena, and you've got these people, or these women, loads of women there, and a couple of guys, and they've got people tied up on these big wooden planks, yeah, and all of a sudden the guy comes out and he's well endowed, yeah, he's really well endowed, and then he gets hold of this woman, yeah, and he has sex with her on these bits of wood. But it's the way they do it's a lot different, a lot of betting and all of that. Now it's just, mate, it's crazy. It's so sexual, it's absolutely crazy, and it goes on, I went through. I've got it written down there because I don't really know the name of it, Mayon ruins. The Mayon ruins is the ruins of Mexico, all the steps, you can go up to the top. Right, mate, I was big, I mean, I was what, 20 stone? Me going up, walking up the top of that, mate, and then get up to the top, and you look for miles, mate, and it's so beautiful. Mexico is a really beautiful place, you know what I mean? But obviously there are certain parts of it are very, very dangerous. They chop you up in pieces, just look at you, you know what I mean? And I had a bit of trouble. What happens in May, June, you get the American colleges, the colleges and schools have a summer break, which is for about 2 or 3 months, yeah? And a lot of them come to CanCun. And I was in my hotel, I forget the name of the hotel now. I was in this hotel, yeah, it was really, really plush. It was all exclusive, and I had to pay for nothing, drinks, food, anything, yeah? And I'm in the centre of the hotel, walking through the centre to go out to the beach. You can go to the beach from the room, because in my room, the big hotel room I had, outside, as you walk outside the room, you had a jacuzzi as well. You had big jacuzzi. The only reason I didn't use these jacuzzis is because sometimes when you go there in the morning, they've got lizards, big lizards that get in there. And in the room, yeah, there's lizards run around the room, run around the lighting system. You can see them. It's crazy, man. It's like mad. You got big spiders. I was on the wall, right, waiting for this bus to come along, and I pulled away from the wall, and I swear to God, this tarantula was like all different colours come out of this wall, right? For the life of I don't like spiders, mate. At all. I hate spiders. Anyway, they had the summer break, May, June, yeah. So I'm in the centre. There's about 7 of them, kids, right? And all of a sudden I'm walking along, and because I'm sort of speaking English to someone, and I walk away, one of the kids tried to trip me up, yeah? And I sort of like looking at him, and I can't believe it. I thought, are they sure, these kids? Yeah, all that game, you know what I mean, mate? All that shit, yeah? And I thought, hold up, you know, and I thought, oh yeah, I said, behave yourself. Come on, you only speak the way that we speak. You ain't this, you know. I said, listen, do yourself a favour. I said, behave yourself. You know what I mean? Behave yourself, you know. What's all that about? Yeah, man, I don't know about all that shit, all that got white Larry, yeah? No punches thrown, nothing. It was all sweet, big mouths, right? That night, I went to a big club in CanCun. And there's me, a couple of other guys from the hotel, just had a good time, yeah? Fucking hell, mate. Who do we bump into? The same geezers that stripped me up. Right? And I thought, here we go. Right? And they started again on me, yeah? Or I'm very short-tempered, and I ain't never been anybody sort of like taking the mick out of me, because I will knock 2 or 3 out, mate. In fact, it showed that honestly, I'm really fast, I can bang. I would knock 2 or 3 out in seconds, right? And I'm looking at them, and I'm winding them up, I'm winding their chins up. Every one of them, they're talking to me, and I'm winding their chins up. Who's going to go first, you know what I mean? Because you know, once you hit one, you come back to the left hook, bang on the other one, you can do 3 in matters split seconds, 2 seconds, all finish, yeah? And they started, and that was it, mate. Crash. I done 3 of them, and the others were running around looking for their mates, and I was like, I had to get out there, mate. I've done a podcast on this before, I don't know, yeah? But I had to get out there quick, mate. I mean, they was chasing me down the road, these American Mexicans, yeah, these kids, and they only got hold of me and they chopped me up. I swear, they chopped me up, but I bashed 3 up. Didn't bash them up, just knocked them out, yeah? Went back, got to my hotel, and they never come back to the hotel. It's sweet, you know what I mean? They never come back there to look at me, look for me or whatever. But she'd gone, and I thought to myself, I've got to try and find her. You know what I mean? I've got to try and find her. No, I didn't. How can I say? I knew that everything had gone, and the Western Union, bits and pieces like that. But you know, when you got to go to the American this and that English thing and get it all sorted out before you can come back home, it's a bit of a pain in the butt, you know what I mean? So anyway, I'm going to certain hotels looking for her, you know, and it's causing me more problems because you can't really go to another hotel through the back way by the sea and come through the back and have a look round. They go mad, you know. So it's caused me plenty of problems, and I had lots of problems doing that. Yeah, walking on the beach, and when you're walking on the beach, it's boiling, it's scalding. I was like a nigger when I come out there. Sorry about that. I didn't mean that nigger, but I was just say, what was I? A black, you know. I was dark, mate, really dark. You know, dark, mate, you know, and I had a good tan, and it was sweet, man. I hated the holiday because of what I lost, you know, because she went and this, that and the other, but I had a good time at certain times, yeah. But this, mate, let me tell you something. Me, a couple of these guys, one of these guys looked like Richard Gere, I swear to God, he's double. And we went to by the golf club, yeah, walking through the grass, the golf things. You know? I swear this, mate. I see the biggest alligator or crocodile, right? Come out of that. I swear, mate. He was massive. He was ginormous, and to think, right, that you're walking across that rope, right, and you fall into the water, right, and that water you could get killed in seconds because it's fresh water, yeah, you know what I mean? And you could get, you know, on the marina you could get, because this big alligator or croc, whatever it was, there's no way they could stop that coming towards you, mate. It was absolutely massive, just laying in there, catching the sun, yeah. And my mate wanted to start throwing balls at it, you know, like golf balls, picking golf balls out and lobbing them. I said, listen, mate, I don't know how true it is, right, but I said, these alligators or crocodiles can do 30, 40 miles an hour, mate. Once I get in it, you're in trouble. We ain't running 34 miles an hour, I could just about run 2 miles an hour, you know what I mean? Size of me. I said, leave it alone. I said, it'll eat us. But also, when I think it's an alligator, I'm not quite sure, I think it's it might be, I don't know what it is, a sea alligator, sea croc. When you go along the beach, they tell you to be very careful when you walk along the beach at night time, because these alligators and crocs come up and lay eggs like the turtles do. You know what I mean? You don't want to bump into one of them, mate. Honestly, they are big, they're huge. But as I said, in the marina, when you go across the ropes and all that game, and you get your keel outside, your keel, keep going back and forth until you fall in. There's no way that big crocodile, mate, or alligator, if he was in that water, he'd kill you. So he would go, mate. They wouldn't be able to stop it, them people. Whether or not they've got nets there, I don't know. You know, but they've got boats and they're there with guns. You know what I mean? That makes you jittery, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Imagine that. Do you know what I mean? That makes you right jittery, you know, when you're going across there and you've got these guys in boats, yeah? In big boats, you know what I mean? Because it's a massive big marina, you know what I mean? They've got big fucking guns and all that game, you know? And you're thinking, well, you know, is it for sharks or sharks get in there? You know, but the size of these sharks, mate, when I was up there and that power thing, that glider, wow, man. Cancun's a beautiful place, yeah? I went out there, when I went out to buy a place, yeah? I went out to buy a place, I went out with a lot of money. Well, I say I went out with a lot of money, I didn't go out with a lot of money. I went out there with a lot of money, but for the banks, yeah, I did not, I had nothing in my name at all, but I could get it, you know. And when I phoned my mum up and all that, and I said I want to buy a gaffer, yeah, and she said, be careful, yeah, be careful out there, yeah. But some beautiful places by the marina, mate, absolutely stunning places. But as I said, you couldn't really, I don't think you could live out there with kids. Even though there's lots of kids out there, I don't think you could live out there with kids, mate, because it's so dangerous. So that sea, the lagoon and all that, mate. I mean, the lagoon's a place, that's the gaff where you can go missing, like them, with them sharks, not sharks, alligators and crocodiles, you know, massive. I believe there's big snakes out there as well. It's not mad, isn't it? Who want to go holiday in Cancun? But it is nice. When we landed in Cancun, the runway is like old. It's all like, you know, big holes in the runway. Seriously, I'm not joking. Big holes, and it's really old, mate. Old Cancun airport is really old, you know. And when you go through their customs, it's silly. Customs is silly. When you come out, it's silly. It's all mad. But when I come back, you know, and I had to get the British Embassy to give me a boarding pass and all this shit and get all that done. Yeah, it was aggro, mate. It was aggro, you know. And when we left the airport, I left Cancun, the hotel I was in, and we was in this big bus going to the other hotels to pick other people up to go to the airport. A guy jumped on the bus for me looking down at him, come up to me and give me all that grief, you know, pointing them in this, that and the other. And I thought, see you, I wanted to smash him to pieces, you know what I mean? Who's this geezer? Pointing at me, screaming. Whether or not she was there, I don't know. And she's seen me and said something to him, I don't know. But this guy really reckoned himself, come and give me plenty of grief, yeah, on the bus. But out there, you don't know who's who, you can go missing in seconds, you know what I mean? So when I got out of there, when I left Cancun, and I got to Gatwick Airport, the person I was with just smashed the car up. Yeah, man, I just smashed the car up. I just bought a Volkswagen Golf convertible, a nice one, I think it was red or blue. No, light blue it was. I think it was light blue, but I can't remember now. And I smashed it to pieces, man. I just put my fist through the windscreen, smashed the back screen, same thing, the back screen, side screens, just put my fist through everything, you know what I mean? Just wrapped myself up with a shirt, or a bit of shirt, or bang, straight through the windscreen, straight through the side screen, back screens, kicked all the lights out, everything, yeah? But because you're in love, innit? You know what I mean? But she left me out, I couldn't believe it, yeah? Because you're in love, you do silly things. What do? When I went back home, I got a phone call about 3 days later. She come back crying. He smashed my car up. He said, "What do I do?" buy another one. Mad, isn't it? It's mad. We're crazy, us men. We're fucking mad, mate. We're so mad, it's unbelievable. Sorry to keep swearing, but we are nutty. We're nutty as they come. But as I say, it's only a little bit about CanCun. Didn't really have any much trouble out there. I chinned a few people out there, but nothing too minor, you know what I mean? And yeah, anyways, it's bang bang well. Please press the like button, subscribe. Nice one, boy.